Handed me books out of his trunk, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to take all your books. He goes, oh, don't worry about it. Nobody's buying them anyway. And 45 million copies later, it's the number one personal finance book ever. Tom Burns. I run a private equity real estate firm in Austin, Texas. The website is rich.life. And you can go there, and there's a lot of information there for you. And you can call me. You can get to me at tom@rich.life.
Yeah.
All right. So back in the day, I read books that tried to help me learn real estate, personal development, stuff like that. One day, my family was gone, and what I do when they're gone is I do errands. So my errand was my truck was dirty, so I had to go get it cleaned. So I go to a car wash, hand the guy my money. I go to the counter, and I'm paying my money, and on the back shelf there with a handwritten sign is like book for sale. And it was a car wash. I didn't know they sold books. And it had Rich Dad something on it. I said, let me see that. And he gives me the book, and it says what the rich teach their kids about money that the poor middle class don't. I figured anybody's cocky enough to say that, it's got to be something I'll read. So I grabbed the book, put it on my bill, went home, put it in my home office, and I did some other errands. About 11:30 at night, I was going to bed, and I thought I'd see what I was going to read one day. I opened up a page and looked at it, and kind of liked what I saw. Read another page or two, leaned against the desk and read some more pages, sat down. 4 hours later, I'd finished the book. So it's 3:30 in the morning, and in my opinion, I'd read just the best book I've ever read in my life. So I had to wait till 6:30 or 7 in the morning. I called a friend of mine and said, I read the best book I ever read in my life. You need to read it. He says, yeah, right. I give him the book. He goes, yeah, you're right. So I wanted to know who this guy was. It was unknown author. Nobody knew who he was. So we called the publisher to find out who this guy is. And the person that answers the phone is Robert Kiyosaki, the author. And it turns out that what he had done was he had printed a self-printed, self-copied, self-published 1,000 copies, really as a brochure to sell his game called Cash Flow. So, we talked on the phone, wanted to know who this guy was, flew out to Arizona, met him. He taught us how to play Cash Flow. And he asked, I said, well, how many of these you got left? Because I had bought like 2 dozen. I went back the next day and bought the rest of the books. There were 2 dozen books on this shelf. And he said, I said, how many of those you got left? He goes, well, how many did you buy? I said, 24. He goes, I got 976 left. He said, nobody's buying it.
Wow.
So we went to Arizona, got to know him, taught us how to play Cash Flow. And I tell people, as we're leaving, I'm getting ready to go back to Austin, and he's handing me books out of his trunk. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to take all your books. He goes, oh, don't worry about it. Nobody's buying them anyway. And 45 million copies later, it's the number one personal finance book ever. So it turns out that was the first book ever bought because nobody would publish him. He had a buddy who owned the car wash. He said, will you please put my book there? And he said, all right. So I bought a couple dozen. I handed them out to my friends because I wanted them to know about it, but I kept a couple of them. I kept the one that I read. Years later, I've been friends with Robert for like 25 years now. I run into him, and I told him I had the first book. And so I gave him back the first book, and it now hangs in the Rich Dad offices. So it's been a long story. It's been a great association. So it's been cool to know Robert.
What a great story.
Hey, thanks, man.
That's awesome.
You bet.
Cool.
Best real estate advice is get educated and make sure that if you're investing with somebody that they've been around a long time, they've been through a few recessions.